Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
And we welcome you. The new drug is good news. Good news on the weather front. After a lot of concern, it looked like we caught a break, I think. I think some people probably got hit a little bit, but nothing compared to, at least for us, even Helene. It was very quiet. Now, hopefully you're safe. Hopefully, if you're listening to me today, that you didn't have too many limbs and debris to pick up. Hopefully, you didn't lose power. I can tell you, as you know, Hays, I've said this many times, we got a lot of family in Tampa, and they lost power. They took a little bit of a beating. Not terrible, but a little bit of a beating. But I haven't talked to anybody around here that even lost power. Have you?
I have not. I mean, I have family and friends that live in that Mandarin area, Mandarin Road, where if you've ever been back there, it's very mature landscaping, oak trees that are 100 years old, that kind of thing. It's beautiful, but in a bad storm, it can be tough. And it was tough for Helene. I had to go, help my dad clean up a lot of debris from his yard. So for Helene, it was an issue. And they lost power, but no, everybody, my mom, my dad, everybody was good with this storm. Thank goodness. So, yeah, it seems like, we can direct all of our prayers and efforts to the Tampa area.
Yeah, and so hopefully everything's good there and healthy there, and hopefully if you're hearing me today, you stayed safe. But listen, it turned out to be, I won't say much ado about nothing. But it turned out to be, when Thursday got here, it wasn't as bad as we anticipated that it could be, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine that the storm did not turn out to be as problematic, if not catastrophic. I don't know if we were expecting that in this part of the state, but it's certainly walloped part of Florida now. And certainly, we all saw the video from Siesta Key, which really got crushed. Fort Myers got crushed. Parts of Tampa, and it's still ongoing as it moves across the state a little too. So certainly continue to pray and hope for those folks as well. All right, a lot to do on the program today. We've jammed a lot into today's show. It's normally our Thursdays are 2 to 4. This Thursday, this Thursday is 4 to 6, obviously, because there's no Jaguar programming. But Greg McGarity still will stop by. We'll have Greg on the program at 4:40, the Gator Bowl College Football Report by phone. We're moving Pete Prisco from tomorrow to today because I like to catch up with Pete, and I'll be gone tomorrow. It'll be Rick's show. You'll be sitting in with Rick as he goes into the night in this time slot tomorrow. So Pete will join us on the show. We'll do our picks. By the way, picks results from last week. Good for you. Okay for JJ. Not good for me.
Really?
Not happy about that. Yeah, I have not filed a formal protest, but I've thought about it.
We've sort of all taken turns having the bad week and the great week.
Yeah, so I thought about filing a formal protest. No real grounds. Just
that doesn't stop most people.
It really doesn't, right?
Yeah.
I've lost. I'm lost. So I'm going to file a protest. So there's that. So but anyway, no. But yeah, there's been some movement. You are ahead of JJ, and comfortably ahead of me. So JJ, you're ahead.
I thought
JJ's in striking distance.
I thought I was going to get 3 game picker uppers. Because I thought that the Steelers were going to deliver for me.
Right.
Because the Ravens already had, and
you had 2 plus
and the Texans already had
2 plus a money ball.
Yeah.
And you had 6 picks, right, too.
Which, by the way, the Bills inexplicably.
I know.
Yeah, hey, listen.
At their own goal line. Like, what are you doing? Trying to, get a field goal? I don't even know. They just kept passing. It was crazy.
I would have been happy to get that one wrong.
With their quarterback who had a concussion, clearly.
But
it was wild. By the way, that was the worst of any quarterback who's thrown at least 30 attempts in a game.
Right.
And I'm a Josh Allen guy, but that was the worst percentage-wise of anyone in 50, 60 years or something. It was 9 of 30.
It was awful.
I was angry about that, too. I was angry about Evan McPherson missing. I'm bitching about a lot of stuff.
I got screwed. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Ravens,
hold.
Yeah, the Ravens came back.
I got a lot of complaining to do.
But you could have gotten – it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was going to get Pittsburgh over Dallas.
Yeah, that would have been really bad.
And then Dak broke my heart to Tolbert to win the game.
Yeah, you would have really pulled away then.
Seconds.
So we'll give you the standings as we come up, but I got a lot of complaining to do. So there's no question about that. And so we certainly will do that. Hey, we got a lot of fun to do on the show today. Prisco at 5, Greg McGarity at 4:40. We'll do our picks at 5:20. A lot of fun stuff coming up on the program today. And the good news, of course, is that I think from a storm standpoint, I think we're going to be okay. So let's certainly hope so as we move along on the show today. A lot of fun stuff to get to today on the radio program. Let's do this. Let's talk a little Jags and Bears now. Let's talk a little Gators after the break. And then after that, we have a guest for much of the program, including even our headlines at the bottom of the next hour. Jags and Bears. We won't pick it till the picks, but what do the Jags have to do, in your opinion, Hays, to beat the Chicago Bears?
Stay on the field. I mean, to me, that it all starts there. The Jaguars hit some explosives last week, which were great, but you're not often going to have 3 plays of 61 yards or longer in a game. And so they've got to get better on third down. Right now, they're at just under 26%. That just isn't sustainable. They've got to figure out how to be better on that down. Now, Evan Ingram certainly will help. Him, I think, being back in the lineup. So there's certainly ways in which they can improve, but that's a concern. I mean, we're deep enough into the season now. It's hard for me to say, well, these things are kind of flukes. I mean,
right.
I'd say at this point, you can improve, but I don't think you can dismiss a bad stat. And so to me, it starts there. The Bears have done a great job defending third down, so it's sort of a weakness versus a strength. If the Jaguars, they don't have to be over 50%, but if they can come in at like between 42 and 45%, if they can be 8 of 17, something to that effect, just be competitive on that down, then I think there's no reason if they do that, they should lose this game. But it starts there. If they get bogged down, if they have trouble converting on third down, then you run the risk of looking up at the end of the game and the Bears have run 18 more plays than the Jaguars. Very hard to win if that's the recipe.
Yeah, I think this. I think the Jags outplayed the Dolphins for much of the game and should have won. I thought they outplayed the Texans for a high percentage of the game, maybe not most, and should have won. They outplayed the Colts and then had to hang on for dear life at the end, but found a way to win. In my opinion, the Jags have the better of the two teams. You're saying, wait a minute, the Jags are underdogs. They're 1-4. The opponent's 3-2. I think the Jags have the better team. That's my opinion. We'll see if they win the game or not, but I think they have the better team. I think, to your point, they've got to be better on third down. They've got to stay on the field. I agree with that. That's a very good point. I don't sense that the Bears' defense is quite as good as their numbers. They're 5th in the league in scoring defense, 7th, tied for 7th overall in defense. But, Hayes, I think that's a product of who they've played. I believe the Rams aren't very good this year. The Panthers, obviously, are the worst team in the league. It certainly feels like they are. The Titans, Will Levis gave them the game, So that's 3 home games that they won. They've lost their 2 road games.
I mean, Richardson threw one of the worst red zone picks you'll ever see.
And they still lost that game.
In that game, and they still lost that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, literally, it was like he was rolling out from the 7 or 8 yard line and just sort of flipped the ball. And there was 3 Bears that could have picked it off. I mean, it was the easiest interception that defense will ever have.
What they have to do is tackle Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams actually ran for more first downs last week than he passed for. Did you realize that?
I did not.
So he's a good player, and if you give him time. We were talking about this in our broadcast meeting yesterday. You give him time, man, he can fire it around there. But if you keep him in, don't let him run crazy and get him on the ground. They don't run the ball very well, so we'll see. But I think the key, you're right. Stay on the field is a big part of it. Don't let Caleb Williams, even though he's a drop back quarterback, he's a great player. He won the Heisman Trophy, man. He's a really good player. But don't make him beat you from the pocket. Don't let him do all that off-schedule stuff that he's known for the other, but I think that's a big part of it. I do think the trip, even though the Jags are traveling later, is really not a bad thing because you travel later. They're supposed to travel earlier. I think they've been delayed by a few hours. I think that's what it is. But that allows them to get a full practice in today before they leave. So I don't think it's a bad thing, and I don't think their travel's been changed very much.
It's probably easier to sleep on the plane, leaving a little later.
Yeah, so, but I don't think the plan's been altered very much. It's not like you left a different day. I think just the fact that I think you saw that they announced that they were leaving a little later, and I don't think it's a big factor. I think the Jags, even though the Bears are there and the Jags are getting there later, I think the Jags benefit from knowing the trip. Like you said yesterday, there's so much about players. Some players haven't ever been abroad. The field is different. The turf is different. It is a stadium where the Jags have played twice. This is their 3rd game in Tottenham. The Jags have played twice in that exact stadium. The Bears have not played in that stadium. A lot of those Bears players have never played in this setting. The fans are different. The crowd is different. They cheer at a different time. Those sound like little things, but they are things.
They add up.
They add up.
For creatures of habit.
Yes.
And pro athletes are creatures of habit.
As you said yesterday so correctly, nothing is more routine than professional sports and for professional sports planning. So I think the Jags play your game. To your point, stay on the field. You got to make some third downs. You got to put yourself in more makeable third downs. Hopefully they have solved third and short with quarterback sneaks or whatnot. I think that stuff's very important. So hopefully we'll see whether or not the Jags can continue to play well. They found a little something in their run game, it looks like.
I would also recommend, if you're the Jaguars, covering people.
You think that's better?
Yeah. I would, for this game,
I didn't have that on my checklist.
I would cover people.
I didn't have that on my checklist.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll do better than that. So, all right. So Jags and Bears comes up in London. We'll talk more about that with Pete Prisco and as the show moves along. Let's take a break and talk about Florida, Tennessee. Can the Gators win the game? And if so, what would they have to do to win the game? That's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's time for Bravo Days, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified sales event at Nimnick Buick GMC. For a limited time, enjoy rates as low as 1.9% APR or $500 in down payment assistance on Car Bravo certified vehicles at Nimnick. So now is the time to shop certified used vehicles and buy with confidence at Nimnick Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealer. Now, buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. With Car Bravo, Nimnick Buick GMC can certify all makes and models. Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. All makes, all models. And trading in your old vehicle? Well, don't forget who gives you the top dollar for your trade. Nobody but Nimnick. So shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. Remember, it's Bravo Days, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified sales event is at Nimnick.
It's more than a game.
No matter how talented you are, it still comes down to that brotherhood of playing for one another.
1010XL. It's why we play.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Cold Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bold City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate, full of choices and all of them good.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Are you an experienced plumber or welder with MedGas certification and you're tired of being undervalued? It's time to make a move to Local 234 Plumbers, Pipe Fitters, and HVAC Technicians. With the best pay in the business, you'll earn $36.50 an hour with benefits that's almost $50. It's not just a job, it's a career that values you. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
15,000 workers. I'm Brian Rose from Remedy Staffing. We survey 15,000 blue-collar workers each year to better understand what drives quality and dependability in our workforce. The survey shows when looking for a new job, the initial pay rate, job security, and safety while working are the most important factors for hourly workers. If you're an employer and would like to learn more about the voice of the blue-collar worker, please call us at 904-528-1933.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and now that you have Honda boats on the showroom floor, tell them about the big boat sale.
We are excited. We got a big sale, 11th through 13th. You want to come on down, see us in person. Some of our boats are going to be up to $30,000 off.
Up to $30,000 off?
$30,000 in savings. It's a big sale event.
So they can start shopping online at cyclesofjacksonville.com. The size of the boats?
Anywhere from 19 to 24 foot, all with legendary Honda outboards.
Honda and Coach, check them both out on Atlantic near Regency. Cycles of Jacksonville.
Elbow pain, whether acute or chronic, can make it difficult to do normal activities like playing sports, doing household chores, or even sleeping comfortably. Dr. George Barry here, and no one wants to deal with pain without solutions on how to feel better. We've all heard of tennis and golfer's elbow, but there's plenty more that can cause pain, like osteoarthritis, muscle tears, and nerve entrapment. All are treatable at Barry Orthopedics. Getting you back to full health is our mission, and there's a number of different treatment options we can offer. Call us today or visit BarryOrthopedics.com.
1 second left. Packers are down by 6 at the goal line. Your defense is the only thing stopping them from scoring. Is your team prepared? Double Check Cybersecurity has your back. With an AI-powered defense, start your 14-day trial at doublecheck.com.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Frank Frangie here, and I can't say enough good things about the team at Sunshine Turf and the work they've done for us. Let Sunshine Turf transform your backyard into a low-maintenance oasis that will be green all year long with artificial turf. Caleb and his team can help you create the lush outdoor space of your dreams, whether you want a durable place for your kids to play or you're ready to say goodbye to muddy paw prints. Visit sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 for a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe. I want to talk to you about picking the right battles to fight in this life. Every day, we have opportunities to get upset and angry. But I want you to realize that sometimes you have to ignore in this life so that you can soar into the kingdom of heaven. My encouragement, friends, to you is to pick the right battles to fight. Fight only battles that help you draw closer to God, because you have to ignore so that you can soar.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
My friends from Stanley Pools are so good. They take care of our pool. They've built it, then they renovated it for us, and now they service it, and they do a fantastic, fantastic job. We certainly appreciate our friends from Stanley Pools and the outstanding job they do. Go see them today. Call them today. Since 1988, the experts in the pool business, my friends from Stanley Pools. You told me something interesting before the show that on social media, locker rooms, booster clubs, message boards. They still have message boards?
Oh yeah.
They still exist. I haven't seen a message board in forever.
Oh,
I want to go see one good message board.
They're hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That Gator Nation has some confidence this week. Maybe because they beat Tennessee every year. Is that out there? You think that's out there?
I have seen it out there that it seems like Florida fans believe that they've got a surprise in store for Tennessee. I don't see it. Now, again, that doesn't these are just fans. These aren't people that cover the team.
No, I know.
Yeah, so
and fans tend to be excited.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But,
I get it.
But I'm surprised because, again, it's a 15.5-point line, which I think is fair. And I just think Tennessee is so much further along in their build than Billy Napier is in his. And it is a tough place to play. And so I guess if you're looking at the trend, look, it's probably the same thing that Rick said to us in Crosstalk the other day. Tennessee's just got such a poor history that there's maybe some fans that I'm just simply not going to trust them. I'm going to pick the other team and pick the upset. But, boy, I think it's going to be really, really difficult for Florida. Could they do it? Sure, they could do it. But, Vanderbilt beat Alabama, so anything's on the table. But I think it would take the best game we've seen Florida play in a year since Tennessee was in the swamp last year.
Yeah, I think it'd be almost impossible for Florida to win. The one way they could win, the only way they can win, because this stuff is real in sports. And I do think if somehow, some way, they can stick around for a half, just somehow, somehow stick around for a half, get into that third quarter where you hear that nervous buzz in the crowd. That's a great crowd at Tennessee. It's a hard place to play. 100,000 plus, they'll all be there. It's a ticked-off Tennessee team that just lost on the road to Arkansas. It's a team that's been manhandled by Florida. Again, you know the numbers by now. 17 of the last 20, really 17 of the last 19 times Florida has beaten them, which is an astounding number. Rick read out the number against the last however many games against Alabama and Florida. So Tennessee knows this is a hard team to beat. And that stuff rears its head, Hays, when the teams are close. It helps a team that's not quite as good beat a better team. But I don't know that it helps a team that's two touchdown plus underdog win the game. But if you keep it close, somehow, which is my fear is Billy Napier's thinking that, and we'll try and play it slow and play close to the vest and run clock, where I think the best thing they can do is, I told Shane Matthews, and he agreed yesterday's attack. But if you get into that third quarter, and even if Tennessee's ahead, they're not quite nerve-wracking. It's not quite as nerve-wracking for their populace. But take a lead. If Florida could somehow – now, honestly, my guess is Florida's down 28-6 at the half. But just for the sake of the conversation, the question was, how do they win? If they somehow look up, and Tennessee has been sporadic on offense at times, very good on defense, turns it over a few times in the first half. Florida hits a couple plays. They play fast. They get one of those young backs loose. You look up in the second half, and Tennessee, all of a sudden, Florida hits a big play. And all of a sudden, you're down 24-21, 7:38 to play in the third. For a moment, then what happens is, then I think you hear the uh-oh. I think it's going to take a third quarter lead because Tennessee knows they're way better. So even if Florida scores first or is up 10-7, you're not worried about that. Florida was up 10-7 over Nebraska in 95, okay? But Nebraska never really worried because they knew they had much the better team. So even if I don't think 10-7 spooks Tennessee. They're the better team. They're at home. But 24-21 with 7 to play in the third, now you've played more than half the game. And you still haven't been able to take control of the game against a team that's beaten you 17 times out of 19. The good thing for Tennessee is their players weren't there for Felipe Franks to Tyree Cleveland or Will Greer to Antonio Callaway or Austin Harden's 50-plus yard field goal or whatever, or Jesse Palmer to Gaffney. They weren't there for all those how in the world did we lose that game moments. But the Tennessee faithful were. The people in that stands, they were there for all of them. They know. And they will get quiet. And sometimes fans can breathe the good or the bad into the team. So Florida's chance to win that game, somehow, get a lead in the third quarter, which, again, I think is going to be most improbable. But get a lead in the third quarter and then see how Tennessee responds. To me, that's the only chance to win the game. If they get down, if it's 21-10 at the half, it's going to be 48-24. So get a lead, somehow create some doubt in a team that has to have a little doubt when they see the logo. Florida's still showing up with I checked on this. They're still wearing the same helmets. They're still wearing the same logo. They're staying with the same school colors. So now you know, and you know that gets in their head some. Make it get in your head. I'll say this. I think Florida might win a close game. Even though they lost a close game 2 years ago up there, I think they might win a close game. I just don't think they can win a game that gets out of hand.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's interesting because Florida really does have the mystique of the two teams, even though they're on, down, they're in a downturn because of what you're talking about, the recent trend in the series, because the coaching staff is going to know that. I don't know that the fans get to the players as much with you have to beat Florida because the players are hanging around kids their age. And so a Tennessee fan that's 22 or whatever, probably not that wrapped up in it. But the boosters and the older fans, they've been all over Heupel and his staff about probably all offseason. Right. This is the one that you have to win, and you have to win it impressively. And that's what can be dangerous for a football team, because coaches do that bleeds into the player psyche if things don't go well, because the pressure on Heupel to win this game is obviously going to be off the charts. The other thing is Tennessee doesn't have a mystique. They look like they've turned it around with Josh Heupel. He looks like he's the best coach that they've had since Phil Fulmer, but he's 15-11 in the SEC, and he just lost at Arkansas. So it's not like Tennessee has this aura about them. They appear to be an ascending team, but I don't think there's nothing from an aura standpoint that I think Florida is going to be taken aback from. The problem is Tennessee's just better. I mean, they've just got, if you did an open draft of these two rosters, you would take far more Tennessee players than you would take Florida players, in my opinion. And that's where I think it's going to come down to just the Jimmies and the Joes, and I think Tennessee's better, and they're at home. But if Florida plays above their head, if there is something to Billy Napier teams perform well against Heupel teams, again, they had one of Napier's best coaching jobs at Florida was the loss in Knoxville 38-33 a couple of years ago when he pulled out all the stops. They were very aggressive on fourth down. They hit a lot of them. And, that team had no business competing with Tennessee, and they took them right down to the final play. And then last year they won fairly comfortably. They won by 13, and the game was never really –
And they kind of shut it down in the second half.
It was like the UCF game we just saw.
Very similar.
Florida got up big and then played it very conservative in the second half and was able to hold on. So, I don't think the aura – all of that, I think, favors Florida because of what you're saying, because Heupel and his staff are going to be very cognizant of how important this game is, and I just think that can translate to the players playing tight and pressing, even though they're maybe not so wrapped up in it, but they just feel it. And I think on Florida's side, I have to think that they're fairly loose from an expectation standpoint. I mean, I can't imagine on campus this week the Florida players have heard a lot of, boy, you guys can't lose this game.
Right.
Well, what do you mean? They lose all the time. They've already lost twice.
Right.
So, I mean, it's, you're really just fighting for, Napier's job, which I would think would be more galvanizing than be a hindrance to them being ready.
And I think it is. And for you've made the comment, I agree with it. He hasn't lost them. For whatever reason, listen, I think of all the things that are wrong with Billy Napier, of all the things that it looks to most of us now like he's probably not the right coach to lead the University of Florida. You know me, I'm the last guy to want to see a coach fired, but I'm having harder and harder time. And it would not bother me at all, by the way, if he saved his job. I hate the firing of coaches.
Absolutely.
I'm not one of the people that would be upset if he got to keep the job. I like coaches not getting fired. But in the same breath, I will tell you, I've changed my mind on being convinced he's the right guy. I'm not convinced of that anymore. He's got to make some changes, and I'm not sure he's the right coach. But that notwithstanding, the one thing, despite all that everybody pretty much agrees on, the guy's a pretty good guy, and his players like him. The players are on board with Coach Billy. I don't think there's any debating that. So yeah, if playing hard for a coach matters, yeah, that's in their favor. Now that doesn't. By the way, I think Tennessee's players like their coach too. So I mean, it's not a one-way street there. But the point is, yeah, I think Florida's going to be a loose football team. I think they have gotten. I think they beat Mississippi State and UCF in large part because I don't think either one of them are very good. All right, I think that's a big part of that. But if I'm in that locker room, that's not what I'm thinking. If I'm in that locker room, I'm thinking, hey, everybody doubted us. We've won 2 in a row, 3 out of 4. We're 3-2, and we're about to play a team we've beaten 17 times in the last 19 years. That's what I'm thinking if I'm a player.
Sure.
They have a modicum of confidence, and they've earned that.
Yeah, you're hearing, well, I'm a 15.5-point underdog. Well, I was an underdog Saturday. And
in my own park.
Comfortably beat UCF. So, yeah, I mean, I do think I think the game, other than the fact, obviously, it's in Knoxville, I think there's a lot of the mental intangibles I think are on Florida's side. And look, Florida's got, I think, 2 really good quarterbacks. Maybe one of them gets super hot. You hope they both play well. Florida's got a ground game that seems to be rounding into form. I just don't think Florida's defense has any chance of stopping them.
Does it help that Florida's not at home? I mean, if Billy Napier said something when they went to Mississippi State, they played poorly in those 2 home games. They got on the road, and it was almost like he said, sometimes it's good to get away. You're all together. You kind of circle the wagons together. You're on the plane together. You're in a hotel together. The outside distractions are gone now. You're always better to be at home. But there are some times when you can become galvanized a bit on the road. And I wonder, I think Tennessee's going to beat Florida. I put it in the picks. I think we're all going to pick Tennessee. But my point is, unless JJ surprises us, you never know. You never know what he's going to do. You never know what JJ.
Well, he got a game picker upper on the Gators last week.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I don't want to spoil things, but I probably won't be.
But I do believe that hey, they're going to play the game. And by the way, it's 15, which is a big number, but it's not 35. Okay, it's not Georgia, Mississippi State, which is 33, I think. Okay, It's 15. So we'll see what winds up happening. You'll be watching. I will not. I'll be asleep. That game will kick off at midnight London time, and I'm glad to be. And I'm glad it is.
If you get a text from me at 3:30 in the morning your time, you'll know it was a good night.
And you know what? If that happens, I hope it wakes me up. I really do. Let's take a break. Let's keep it on college football. Greg McGarrity's up next. It's the Gator Bowl College Football Report. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Prosser here. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR, the lowest in 2 years. Whether you got your loan last month or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto and dump that high-rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi, so get started. Even if you're in process with another lender, give Loan Pronto a call. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well, so call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their REME Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
It's soccer around the world, and here at home on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour on 1010XL. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk.
Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 AM.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan announced today that the Jaguars made a significant contribution to the American Red Cross for Hurricane Milton relief.
We told you about the City Council, JTA, JEA, and Jacksport donating $300,000 to our local Red Cross. Well, I'm thrilled to tell you now that the Jacksonville Jaguars Foundation is kicking in another $50,000 for the Red Cross, and we're very grateful to them, Shad Khan and Mark Lamping, for that additional contribution. So that's $350,000 to our local Red Cross, who is just doing so much good work during all of this. So thank you to them.
Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan this afternoon. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The College Football Report is presented each week by the Gator Bowl with Executive Director Greg McGarity. Here's Greg with the Frangie Show crew.
All right, Greg joins us by phone today. Greg, I trust you're okay. No power outages, no damage for you?
Hey, okay here, Frank. Much more fortunate than those below us.
Yeah, you know what? Exactly right. We are too. So we're very fortunate, and everything worked out okay. So that is certainly good to hear. All right, Greg, a lot of things to talk about in the world of college football. I got to ask you this, and I haven't even gotten to this on the show yet, but apparently this week the Big Ten and SEC are meeting in Nashville, and there's a group of dignitaries, really, that is trying to put together a super league. Have you seen this story, the super league they're trying to put together, 70 teams or whatever?
Yeah, I read it by the Disney executives or the former Disney executives that are trying to inject billions of dollars into college sports.
Yeah, and there's now a competing group trying to do it, but the College Sports Tomorrow people, I guess, is the one we're all talking about. Can that happen? Should that happen? Would it be good or bad for college football, in your opinion?
Frank, based on what I know and what I've read about it, which isn't a lot, I'm not really for super leagues or things of that nature. I think college football, I think they just need to leave it alone for a little bit. I mean, we're just trying. It's almost like you have to figure it out every year.
Right.
You know, we're going to have enough worries to figure out what happens in 2026 and beyond. We're going to 14 teams. We're going to 16 teams. I think what suffers in this sometimes are the schools that aren't in that group. And I have a lot of empathy for schools, especially like UNF and JU and schools like Georgia Southern, that really depend sometimes, maybe not in football here locally, but other sports to help make their budgets, especially like in college basketball. And I just hate to see it become sort of an elitist game for those that the haves, and you got the have-nots that, what happens to them? I just think we're getting more and more away from a college and amateur model, and I really don't like that.
Greg, in terms of on the field, was Vanderbilt's upset over Alabama, was that the greatest SEC upset, in your opinion, in recent history?
I'd have to think so. I think what's even more amazing was 40 points. I mean, sometimes Georgia's and Florida both had nail biters up there, but they've never been games of that offensive production. Right. And it just shows you that fluky things can happen. The pick six was an oddity there, and Vanderbilt's quarter running that triple option. Some really strange things happen. And Alabama obviously had 80% of the people in the stands. You just give somebody hope long enough and make a few mistakes here and there, and then all of a sudden you've lost to a team that probably have no business losing to.
All right, let's get to this week. Florida plays at Tennessee. Look, Florida has dominated Tennessee, 17 of the last 19, 26-8 since they started playing every year in 1990. We all know the numbers. 18-4 since Steve Spurrier's been gone. But it doesn't look like they have much of a chance this game, Greg. Do the Gators, in your opinion, have any chance in this one?
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great game because Tennessee's back on their heels now. How are they going to respond? Because if they have two losses, if Florida beats them and then they've still got Georgia and Alabama ahead of them, they're really going to have a lot of pressure on them. I think Florida can come in there, kind of freewheel it. Nobody's picking them. Obviously they can move the ball. They've got great talent at quarterback, and receivers are stepping up. Heck, I think it's going to be a toss-up. I can't wait to watch that game, but I think Florida's got a great chance to win.
How big is this Ole Miss at LSU game for you guys?
Well, I think it's the biggest game in college football this weekend because even bigger than Texas-Oklahoma, because this is really an elimination game. I think the loser of this game, now with two losses, is going to be on the outside looking in on the college football playoff in that 12. I think it's a separation game, and LSU at night, pretty tough place to play. So that's going to be a game you can't miss that one.
It's going to be really interesting. I'll tell you that much to see. Do you if Ole Miss loses, does the luster come off Lane Kiffin in your mind any, Greg? I mean, and again, we'll see if he's going to wind up with the Florida job or whatever. But do you think in your mind the luster comes off him if he gets his second loss already?
Gosh, Frank, that's a tough question. I don't know. I know this is the year that they were pointing to have a chance to compete for the national title. And I think once you've kind of prepared yourself for the transfer portal and all these things, Dart's third year as quarterback at Ole Miss, you've got a good both lines, offensive and defensive lines. If they don't do it this year, you may ask, well, will it ever happen? But I think Kiffin's a great coach. The Kentucky game really shocked everyone. But again, a lot's going to depend on how they compete and, how the game's going to turn out. And, I just think that's a toss-up. And I think LSU has to have the edge. They're coming in playing pretty well, and they're playing at home.
There are 10 SEC teams right now with at least 4 wins. Mm-hmm. So how's the board looking for you guys on that side? Because it seems like we were worried about maybe too many maybe going up. But now it seems like the SEC is going to have well on its way to double-digit amount of teams qualified for a bowl game.
Well, I think the Arkansas win was huge. I think Arkansas just has to win, 2 more games to be bowl eligible.
Yep.
Oklahoma should have 6. A&M's win continues to trend upward. Kentucky, you may think the loser of Ole Miss LSU drops into our pool, and Missouri maybe drops in there. So, you may have 4 or 5 up, but I think the ability for Arkansas to win and A&M to keep winning. Now we just need Florida to keep winning to get to 6 wins. They've got 3, and it'd be a huge step. And South Carolina took a step back. South Carolina's got a tough schedule coming home, but Auburn, I think, it's going to be very difficult for them to get 6 wins. So it's looking better since Arkansas kind of maybe helped knock Tennessee down a bit and maybe propel them into bowl eligibility.
Greg, what games you got? Where are the Green Jackets going this week? Where are we watching?
Well, we've got people really going everywhere. We've got a group going to nobody going to Texas, Oklahoma. Okay.
All right. Got it.
But we got people going to Georgia for the Mississippi State game. We got people going to Tennessee for that game. Actually, at the LSU game, and I was hoping somebody would go see Pitt play. Pitt's undefeated. They play Cal, and so you're talking about a team. You've got 3 ACC teams with 5 wins, not even counting Miami and Clemson. So you've got Duke, you've got Pitt, you got SMU. Those teams right now, and throw in Notre Dame there. You're going to have some teams that might not have been thought of in the past, maybe be in there for contention, especially if Pitt and SMU continue to win.
Would SMU be appealing in that they're not a school? They're not close to us. I get that. There's a proximity issue, but they are sort of new. They're exciting. The chance to match SMU up against an SEC school, would that be something that you guys would look at?
Absolutely. I think everything that you mentioned right now would have that fan base so excited. It's the first year in the ACC. They'd be playing an SEC team here. They'd be coming to a great city, and the ability to play, on national TV against no other bowl or anything. I think they would draw great. I think they've got great fan support. I just think they would be a very attractive team here, and it'd be awesome to have them here.
I'm trying to think. I was thinking about Pitt. You're right. Pitt's having a good season. Now they may play their way out of the Gator Bowl, but they have been here. I'm trying to think how many times they've been here. I know I covered one of them like as an intern when they beat. Was it South Carolina they beat? I think.
Yeah. They romped over the game.
Like 34-7, I think, back in the day.
Been a long time though.
Yeah,
been a long time.
I think I was in college. I think it was. Have they been here since? I have to check.
No,
they haven't been since.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so. Not at all.
Interesting. So yeah, and again,
would that have been like Tony Dorsett?
I think it.
Yeah.
No, I think it might have been after that.
Okay.
I think Elliott Walker was the running back. He was like right after Dorsett.
Okay.
Why would I remember?
Was Sherrill coaching them at that time?
I don't. He might have been. I think Matt Cavanaugh was the quarterback. It was after Marino. I think it was after Marino and Dorsett. Right, shortly there, somewhere.
1977.
It was 77.
Pitt beat Clemson 34-3.
Okay, and I think it was Clemson, not South Carolina, and I think it was Matt Cavanaugh, Elliott Walker.
Yeah, he broke the Gator Bowl record for passing with 387 yards.
Wow. Okay, yeah, and I was actually, it was just my second year in college. I was like 19.
You got a great memory. That is a great memory of that.
Yeah, it's not normal, Greg. I'm not a normal person.
I should know
it's
that.
A sickness.
Okay?
But I was like
my thunder.
I was a sophomore in college. And I remember covering the game. I was like a stringer.
Well,
for the
Greg is also correct because in 1980 the Pitt Panthers beat the South Carolina Gamecocks 37-9 in the Gator Bowl.
Okay, so
so they were here twice in
that's
like
the
4
one
years.
I covered one of them. Okay, I covered one of them. So that's
that would line up more, right?
Yeah, because I was at Florida by then.
Yeah.
So interesting. So I had to whatever one Matt Cavanaugh played, I was at that one. Okay, so there is that one. So it'll be a lot of fun. So Greg, final thing here. Can you start getting? Is it way too early now to start getting a hunch of which SEC teams you think you really might have in play here? I mean, is it too early? Because it's probably too early. There's a lot of guys playing still now, aren't there?
Well, I think the ones is probably better to look at who's not going to trend this way. Vandy, Mississippi State, South Carolina's got work to do. Auburn's probably not going to make it.
Okay.
Florida with a win tomorrow. They've got to win 3 more games somewhere. So everybody else would be in play except those that play up.
Yeah.
So you got a pool there of A&M, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kentucky.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, not Kentucky, but the Mississippi LSU loser, and Missouri. So, one of those teams has to go to Orlando. They get the first pick.
Yeah.
And so LSU, I think, was in Orlando last year, I think. But there would be. I think there are going to be enough teams, which is the main thing to feed the bowls.
Yeah, and I would think so, too. We'll see what happens. All right, Greg McGarity checking in next week. Greg at our normal time, back at our 2 to 4 slot.
Got it.
Greg McGarity checking in, talking college football with us. Greg, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Y'all have a great weekend.
All right, Greg McGarity talking college football. Here's what I think. Hays Carlyon, who hails from the Bowl School. I think I went to the 77 game and then covered the 80 game. The 80 game. That's what I think. I think I covered the 80 game as an intern. Because I remember South Carolina had a quarterback. I don't know. It all runs together. But I remember Kavanaugh. So maybe I went to the game Kavanaugh played in, and then I covered the. I think that's what it was. It's a long time ago. I'm an old guy, for God's sake. Let's turn it to NFL talk. We'll take a break. When we come back, Pete Prisco checks in. Today we'll do it on Thursday instead of Friday. I won't be here tomorrow. So Pete Prisco joins us to talk NFL football after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Does Flutie have a pro miracle?
I'm Doug Flutie on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Here's Flutie rolling out, and he is in for the touchdown.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Stuck on what to do with a plumbing issue? Just call the Duck. Duck Rooter are experts at plumbing and are a 5-star Google-rated company. You name it, they do it. Water heater replacements to sewer drain cleaning, leaks to repipes. Fully licensed and insured with highly trained technicians. Trust the Duck to fix it right. Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Poker players, brace yourselves. The World Poker Tour storms into Best Bet Jacksonville October 31st to November 19th, and the forecast calls for massive prize pools. Event 1 has a cool $200,000 guarantee. Event 6, a downpour of $300,000. And the main event, a flood of a $1 million guarantee. WPT Championship satellites are already brewing. Don't get left high and dry. Head to bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality product and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, congratulating this week's high school scholar athlete, Lauren Hutton, senior swimmer at Fletcher High. Lauren is the varsity captain of the swim team and is a member of the National and French Honor Societies. Congratulations, Lauren.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local authorized technology partner and home to Xerox copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists returns with their free bumps and bruises evaluation clinics. Now with 4 locations, these free injury assessments are open to all schools and athletic programs. Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 through October 26th at Cortex Sports Performance in Ponte Vedra, Preferred PT in Fleming Island, and also at Brooks Rehab on Centurion Parkway and Brooks Rehab at World Golf Village.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Baker Glass. Jacksonville Mayor Donna Deegan this afternoon on how the city of Jacksonville fared with Hurricane Milton.
I am just absolutely beyond grateful that we continue to be so blessed in this city, that we have yet again avoided the worst of one of these monster storms.
Governor Ron DeSantis on behalf of the state of Florida.
What we can say is the storm was significant, but thankfully this was not the worst case scenario.
Update on high school football. The Eagles View at Bishop Snyder game is on tomorrow night at 7. It's 76 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
And we thank our friends from Showtime. Man, it is the best around. If you want collectibles, no matter who it is you root for, they've got something for you. The best in vintage cards, terrific autographed items. You name it, they've got it at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Head to Showtime at the corner of Phillips and Shad, where you can find them on all the social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Let's welcome in our buddy Pete Prisco from CBSSports.com. Pete, were you able to stay safe in the storm? No damage, I hope?
No damage. Yeah, it was windy, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. You guys came through pretty well too, I heard.
Yeah. I think we're very blessed. It could have been. It looked like it could have been very bad, and it turned out it wasn't. At least for us around here, it certainly was bad in the Tampa area where you used to live, and I've got family over there. But certainly not too bad for us. We're very, very fortunate. So, all right, let's get to the Jags. Let's start with last week. They had to hang on, but they found a way to win. Pete, a gigantic win. They had to find a way to beat the Colts.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And look, it's an undermanned Colts team, but Jacksonville has their fair share of injuries, and they played well. I mean, offensively, that's what you expect from that team. You expect them to move the football. If the offensive line was good, I thought Trevor Lawrence was much better. I thought he tightened things up a bit. You could see that in the way he played, and he wasn't playing tight. That's the most important thing. He looked like he was enjoying himself. He looked like he was having fun, and he made a lot of plays. So I think that's what we expect to see from the offense. The defense has a long way to go.
Yeah, without a doubt. What stands out to you when you watch that side of the ball?
Well, I mean, look, Trayvon Walker had 3 sacks, and he influenced the quarterback, and I think Hines Allen's done his job. But the middle of that defense, it's no pressure whatsoever, 0. And I think that's a concern because, you want to get some inside pressure on these quarterbacks. They've busted coverages. I think the 2 safeties have had major problems tackling, busting coverages, and when Gibson comes back and when Wingard comes back, they might be making changes there because those 2 guys have not played very well, and it showed up on a constant basis. So I think some changes are coming when you do get guys back, but the defense has to be better.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. Andrew Wingard was going to be a starter, Pete. He was a starting. It was going to be Cisco and Wingard were going to be the starting safeties. I don't think that's a mystery. So I think they've got to find. Yes, I think when they get back, I think Antonio Johnson will be fine in time, but he's a young player having to play out there for a while. No question about that.
And Cisco hasn't taken his. You figure this is a contract year for Cisco. Yeah. You figure he's taking his game to the next level, and he hasn't.
Yeah, not yet. You're exactly right. So let's look ahead. They play the Sunday morning game against Sunday morning here, 2:30 there against the Bears. I asked Hays this yesterday. Let me ask you the same question. In your opinion, how much of an advantage is it for the Jags? They're 6-5 in London games, but a lot of that where teams weren't very good. They're 6-5 in games played over there. This will be the 12th time they play a game in Great Britain. How much of an advantage is it for them that they know the lay of the land, they know what it's like to go over there, they know the practice facilities, the turf's a little different over there and they know it. How much does that help them in these London games?
Oh, it helps the guys that have been around and the guys that have done it, but there's a lot of guys who haven't done it. So, from that standpoint, I don't think that's much of an advantage. But, again, teams have to get their bearings about them. And the Bears went over early, right? They went over I think they went over on Tuesday. So they're starting to get their feel for it and try and figure out if that's the best thing for them. The Jaguars know the best way that they can go over there. So I think there is an advantage from that standpoint. This game is interesting because you got a team in Chicago very physical on the defensive side of the ball and good corners, guys that can cover. And so I think it's going to be this is the game where you want to see the offense continue to play like it did a week ago, Frank. I mean, this is it. Because if they go back to what they were before that, then you say, okay, the Colts were down so many guys and you took advantage of it, and the Colts haven't stopped anybody all year. But if Jacksonville can move the ball against that defense, I think that'd be very telling.
How do you think the Bears will go about defending Brian Thomas?
Well, their corners are good. How they defend him, it will be interesting because Johnson's really good at the one corner, and Tyree Stevenson's a long, athletic guy. Kyler Gordon is a good nickel corner. I mean, they have corners. I don't think that the safeties have played well too. Now, Brisker's probably not going to be there, and that's a big hit for him, but. I think they can do it a variety of different ways. You can say, look, we can put Johnson on him and go travel with him if we want to, or we can just double him and play the safety over the top. The kid's getting better and better week in and week out, not getting the due he deserves either around the NFL. We have in our broadcast meeting, we had the same conversation. Will Jalen Johnson travel with Brian Thomas Jr.? What do you think? Yes or no? Just to that question. Sometimes. I don't think they're going to do it all the time. Nobody does that all the time anymore. But even like Sauce Gardner doesn't travel with Justin Jefferson all the time last week in that game. They just don't do it because there's so many teams that want to keep the structure of their defense. But he will be on them a bunch. I can guarantee you that. Offensively, what do you think of what you've seen for the Bears? They're 3-2. They've had a little bit of a soft schedule by NFL standards. Nothing's soft in the NFL. They're all good teams, but they have a little bit of a soft schedule. DJ Moore is obviously really good. They don't run the ball very much. What do you think from what you've seen from Caleb Williams so far? Well, when he has had the running game in the last couple of weeks, it's been a little bit better. It's made it easier on him. The problem with him, when he gets the ball out on time, he's fine. When he holds it, and he's had a tendency to hold it, he starts doing the things he did at USC, which is spinning around, running around, trying to create, and that leads to problems. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on him early in the game, is how is he handling himself when he does drop back to throw, because he gets a little erratic, and his passes start getting high and wide, and he's just got to stay there and get the ball out on time. I think that's where the two ends got to come into play. Now, the left tackle at Chicago's played pretty well. He's been a bit of a surprise. The Jones kid in the second year has been pretty good. The rest of that line's been just okay, and so I think that's where they've had problems early in the season. Most of the problems have been inside, though, and the problem with that on the other side is Jacksonville doesn't attack from the inside. They get no pressure from the middle, so it kind of offsets the weakness of the Bears' offense.
The Texans will probably move to 5-1. They're at New England on Sunday, but losing Nico Collins for at least 4 games, how do you think the Texans will combat not having him, and how big of an issue does that become for them?
Well, it's a major issue. I mean, he's their big play threat. He's the number one guy. It isn't Diggs, it isn't Dell, it's him. And they haven't exactly been the greatest offensive team in the world this year, or at least better than they haven't been as good as everybody expected them to be. So it's been off for them. The offensive line has been a problem. It wouldn't shock me to see them struggle against the New England defense on the road. That without Tank Dell, it's a different dynamic. It's different how you defend them. And the Patriots have actually been decent on defense. So I think they're going to struggle this week, and then their schedule gets really tough. I mean, they have some really tough games coming up because they do play that first-place schedule. So it's a big hit to their offense. It's a big hit for C.J. Stroud. Pete, what did you make of the Robert Saleh news? Were you surprised that he got fired? And then the first move by Jeff Ulbrich today announced Todd Downing, not Nate Hackett, will call the plays. What do you make of the whole New York Jets thing? Aaron Rodgers can deny that all he wants. He has his fingerprints all over the thing. And granted, his buddy is Hackett, so maybe if they were going to make a change, it was going to happen anyways. But, he comes out and says he had nothing to do with it. Give me a break. That he brings in all – Alan Lazard is there because he wanted him there. Randall Cobb was there last year because he wanted him there. They ran Nate Hackett's offense, which is essentially his offense, which has no pre-snap movement, no motion, or very little of it, because he wants it that way. So to think that he had nothing to do with it is, I don't believe it. I don't believe him. It puts more pressure on him. The defense wasn't the problem. The offense is 25th in the league in total offense. They just don't score. And I think when you play the way they do, Frank, they play like the old, like Manning used to play. Manning used to come in the line of scrimmage, 2 over here, 1 over there, and let's go. There was no movement, nothing. But he had Wayne and Harrison, so it made it easy on him. When you come to the line and you do that now, particularly with all the rotation after the snap, you better have star wide receivers. Wilson's a good one. He's not a star, which is why they need to go out and get Devontae Adams, and I think they will. I think they have to make that move if they're going to be a deep playoff team.
Pete, I cannot wait to watch Washington at Baltimore, Jaden Daniels versus Lamar Jackson. How do you see that game going?
Both teams have problems on defense, so I think that one could get really loose. I think you're going to see a lot of points in that game. The Ravens, for all their reputation for being a great defensive team, they haven't been that this year. They haven't stopped many teams, and particularly when it comes to the pass, they've been giving up a lot of big plays. I think they'll give up some big plays here, but on the other side, they've been really good on offense, and Washington's not great on defense. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game, and if somehow, some way, the Commanders were to win that game and he were to outplay Lamar Jackson, then all of a sudden you sit there and you say, he's legitimately in the MVP conversation. And what he's done, he's made that team, the players around them who were question marks before the season, that much better. And I go to the offensive line. Before the season, everybody said, it's a mess, that offensive line. Well, they go out and get Allegretti to play, the veteran to play left guard. They get Biadasz to play center. They get Leno's playing pretty solid football at left tackle. I mean, they're playing better football because he's the quarterback, and Cliff Kingsbury's done a great job making it easy, scheming it on him. So I'm nothing but impressed with Jaden Daniels. I thought he would be the best quarterback in this draft class. I still do. But he's even exceeded my early season expectations.
So if he wins the MVP 1 year after winning the Heisman Trophy, you guys just didn't need him in Arizona State, right, Pete?
We made him.
You didn't need him.
We molded him. Are you kidding me? Hey, we molded him. He was throwing to Ayuk. He was throwing to Ricky Pearsall. He was throwing to Johnny Wilson. He had Rashad White behind him. They just couldn't win any damn games.
You molded him. Hey, what about tonight's game? I would think tonight's game is critical for the 49ers. They're 2-3. It's a hard place to play. You lose tonight, you're 2-4, and this is a team that definitely has Super Bowl aspirations, Pete.
Yeah, and look, a lot of problems stem from their defense not being able to stop the run. I mean, they're giving up 4.7 per rush, and last week it was 6.4. The Cardinals ran the ball on them in the second half, they pushed them around. And that's, the one thing about the 49ers, Fred Warner's a great player. When Greenlaw's in there, he's a great player. D. Winters is playing now. He's not a big – they're all fast, athletic linebackers. But if you get bodies on them, they're not big guys. And you could push them around a little bit. And I think those down players have had problems, and they're getting bodies out on those guys, and teams are running the football. The flip side of that, though, is Seahawks haven't run the ball. They're averaging 5 yards a carry on the season, and they had 11 rushes last week. And there's a lot of people criticizing, the offensive coordinator Grubb for not running the ball. So I think that will be their strategy tonight. But you're right. The 49ers, if they're truly a Super Bowl team, they have to go up there and win. The Giants went there last week. Daniel Jones played well and moved it around. If the 49ers don't move the football and play consistently well on offense, I will be shocked.
How do you think the Lions will fare coming off a bye going to Dallas?
I think it's going to be a fun one. I think you're going to see a lot of points. Both defenses have issues. We talk a lot about the Cowboys and how they're banged up and they're giving up a lot of points and yards. But the other side of that, the Lions, for all the assets that they've used on the defensive side of the ball in the secondary in the offseason, Carlton Davis, the draft pick, Arnold, they spent a lot of assets on that side of the ball, and they haven't got any better. They give up a lot of big plays. So I think you're going to see a lot of big plays from both sides. I think Dallas will win the game. I think Dak Prescott will play well enough at home. He'll find a way to win that game.
Pete, final thing, Jags, Bears, who's going to win the game?
I think Jacksonville wins the game. I just think what we saw last week, it's probably going to have to be, score points because I don't know if they can, the way they're playing defense right now, I don't know if they can slow anybody down. So I think you'll score points, but I think Trevor Lawrence felt like himself last week. And you know what? it didn't look like he was playing like a guy who didn't want to turn the ball over. I said that last week. Don't turn it over. Don't turn it over. Don't turn it over. All year, all off season, all at the end of last season. Well, he hadn't turned it over, but he played tight and it showed up. He wasn't tight last week, and I think that carries over. I think they play well on offense. I think they find a way to win.
Pete Prisco checking in from CBSSports.com. Pete, thanks, buddy. Have a good weekend.
All right, guys. Travel safe to London. Have fun over there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really do. So, Pete Prisco checking in, talking NFL football. It's brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. One more time for vintage cards, terrific autographed items. No matter what team it is you root for, they've got your stuff there. I can guarantee it. They are that good. So head to Showtime at the corner of Phillips and Chad, or you can find them on all the social channels, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You ready? You ready for
Absolutely.
One day early? Can you look? You're a routine guy.
We are creatures of habit as well, and I had to we had the storm too.
Yeah,
so
that?
it was
Change your practice
It was
schedule.
a tough week, but yeah. I commend the team, and we doubled down, and we feel like we've got a good we've got some good selections upcoming.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, you made some good ones last week. There's been a little separation. It's a separation Sunday last week. We'll talk about that. We'll give you the standings. We'll give you our picks. That's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Some people call it X. What? Some still call it Twitter. Okay, I got it. Whatever you call it, it's the best place for up-to-the-minute Jags coverage from 1010XL.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe. I want to talk to you about picking the right battles to fight in this life. Every day, we have opportunities to get upset and angry. But I want you to realize that sometimes you have to ignore in this life so that you can soar into the kingdom of heaven. My encouragement, friends, to you is to pick the right battles to fight. Fight only battles that help you draw closer to God, because you have to ignore so that you can soar.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
I-9 Sports wants to make sure kids all over the First Coast can enjoy growing up on a field or in a gym. And right now, fall and winter registration is open. Find out what I-9 Sports offers across Duval, Clay, and St. John's. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Catching fish and fish stories.
What's going on here? Get me in the boat. Get me in the boat.
On the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show with Captain Kevin Faber. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Veterans Wholesale Cabinets.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can easily find coverage options that fit your budget. If only it was that easy to name your baby.
How about Jaden?
Nope.
Okay. Michael?
Went to middle school with a glue-eating Michael.
Sebastian?
Dated one in college.
How about Damien?
Vampire name.
All right. Greg?
Not feeling it.
Okay. No worries. Jeffrey?
Oh, love that one.
Wait, really?
No.
Find coverage options that fit your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Blue for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShanatriDC.com.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys Locksmith Service.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
The Frangie Show Picks Contest is presented by Sunshine Turf. For the highest quality artificial grass installations at affordable prices, it's Sunshine Turf.
Let me tell you what just happened right here. Steve Griffin, our boss, bought us all Chick-fil-A today. That was one of the quickest swallows of all time. That might be in the Swallow Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Didn't realize we were coming back so fast. Here's the way the picks look. Last week, Hays Carlyon went off 6-2, 9 total points, 2 game picker-uppers, and a money ball. J.J. LaSelva, he's from Central Ocala, third baseman on that Ocala Forest team. Told you should play up, take away. You know what you didn't do? Didn't bunt. That's what you didn't do. 6-2, nice work last week, J.J.
Nice.
He had a game picker-upper and a money ball as well. I was only 4-4. I had the money ball, 5 points, so 9-8-5. So Hays now is 23-17, 29 total points. 4 clear of JJ, who's 21-19, 25 total points. I'm 20-20, 23 total points, so 29, 25, 23. You're starting to pull away again. He's done this last few years.
Points. Yeah, it's just 4 points.
Hayes has 4 game picker-uppers. And JJ has 2. I don't have any. Moneyball, I'm 3-1. You guys are both 2-2. There you go, 29, 25, 23. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I go first because I'm like in the bottom feeder here. Penn State plays at USC. I'm going to take the Nittanies on the road here. JJ LaSelva.
USC hasn't looked great the last 2 weeks, but Penn State to me they're overrated. They bore me to death. I'm mostly picking USC because I want Penn State to lose. I'm going to go with SC here.
USC and Hays Carlyon.
I think Penn State actually is playing really good defense, so I think they're going to frustrate USC even making that long trip. I'll take Penn State.
Game picker-upper opportunity for JJ LaSelva. JJ, right back to you. LSU at home against Ole Miss.
This is tough. I'm going to go with Ole Miss in this one. No reason other than, Perkins is hurt for the rest of the year. LSU's defense still really hasn't impressed me much. I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
Hey, Carlyon.
I'm going to go with LSU. I just think night game, Tiger Stadium, I think LSU finds a way.
I'm the same way. I just don't think Ole Miss. I don't believe in them. I keep picking against them, so I'm going to take LSU at home as well. Vanderbilt. Have you heard of them?
Wow.
On the road in the Bluegrass State.
Wow.
Who do you like?
I like Kentucky because I think Vanderbilt's done nothing but drink all week, and I can't blame them at all. I'd be right there with them. So I think major letdown for Vandy, and I think Kentucky wins.
Kentucky at home for me too, JJ.
Clean sweep for Kentucky.
Kentucky across the board.
They're actually pretty big favorites. I think it's like 12 or 13 points.
And in Neyland Stadium in Rocky Top. 17-2 in the last 19. 26-8 since 1990. You notice I keep reading those numbers, okay? It's only 18-4 since Spurs have gone. I really want to pick them. Too hard. Tennessee for me. Hayes.
Yeah, I just think that Tennessee ground game, Florida's defense, I think is still ways away from what it really needs to be. So I think the Volunteers keep it easy, keep it on the ground, and cruise to victory.
Let's get to the NFL music, please.
And JJ, you've got...
JJ,
Tennessee.
JJ had already told us that. All right, there we go. All right, let's get to the NFL. Colts and the Titans kick us off. Hays Carlyon.
Oh, my God.
In Tennessee, in Nashville.
Game.
Couple of
but I always do the division.
Yeah, no, I know. It's I will take Tennessee simply because they're coming off a bye and they're at home.
Tennessee it is. JJ?
I'm going to go with the Colts.
I'm torn on this one.
This is a tough one because they're both terrible.
They're both no good. I'm going to take the Colts on the road. I'm going to come with JJ on that.
I just hate Will Levis. I couldn't imagine picking Will Levis.
I'm taking the Colts on the road for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Lions and the Cowboys.
Oh.
I'm going to go first. Pete Prisco likes the Cowboys at home. I'm going the other way. I'm going to take the Lions on the road. JJ?
I'm going to go Cowboys at home.
Okay.
Don't feel strongly about it.
Hays Carlyon.
I'm going to go with the Lions as well. I just think they're too explosive, and again, they're coming off a bye.
All right, so there you go. I was going to do the Commanders and the Ravens. I just don't think anybody would pick them. It's a 7-point line. So I'm going to do Steelers and Raiders. JJ LaSelva in Las Vegas.
I'm going to go with the Steelers. The Raiders got a lot going on at quarterback. It looks like a mess over there. So I'm going to go with the Steelers.
The Steelers. I'm torn, but I'm going to go Steelers too. It's a 2-point line. Hays.
I'll take the Raiders. I think they're both a total mess. Pittsburgh, I thought, really looked poor against Dallas the other night, and they've got a lot of issues as well in terms of George Pickens. What are they doing on offense? So I don't think either team is particularly strong, but I'll take the Raiders in a mini upset.
And the money ball. JJ, kick us off in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I wasn't sure if you were going to get that out. I'm going to go with the Jags. I've been saying this all week. I'm kind of shocked that the Jags are underdogs in this game. I don't know if that's just because I'm here and all I hear is Jags talk every day. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Jags against a rookie quarterback in London.
Hays Carlyon, the Bears are a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, and I'm going to take the Bears. I just think they've got more confidence. I think defensively they're outstanding, and I think Caleb Williams is starting to figure it out. And, yes, they can't run, but the Jaguars can't cover anybody, so I think with those receivers, I think Chicago finds a way to win a close game.
I'm going to come with JJ on this. I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the Jags. So there you go. Our picks look like this. Penn State, USC. Hays and I like the Nittanies on the road. JJ likes USC at home.
Trojans!
Ole Miss, LSU. Hays and I like LSU at home. JJ, Ole Miss on the road. JJ's trying for some game picker upper. He's not afraid.
I really don't feel good about that one for sure. That's a tricky one.
Vandy, Kentucky, we all picked the Wildcats. Tennessee, Florida, we all picked Tennessee. To the NFL. Colts and the Titans. Hays Carlyon likes the Titans at home. JJ and I both like the Colts on the road in that game. Lions, Cowboys. Hays and I both like the Lions on the road. JJ, along with Pete Prisco, thinks the Cowboys win at home. Steelers and Raiders. JJ and I both think the Steelers win on the road. Hays picks the Raiders. Two bad teams, really, I think. And Jags and Bears. Hays Carlyon is taking the Chicago Bears to get to 4-2 and drop the Jacksonville Jaguars to 1-5. JJ and I both think it's the Jags. We think they get to 2-3. Correction. We think they get to 2-4 after this game. Those are our picks. One more time, the standings. 29 points for Hays Carlyon. He's 23-17. 25 points for JJ LaSelva. He's 21-19. 23 points for me. I am 20-20 on the season. There we go. Now, we will not have a picks contest next week because I'll be off all week, and we'll review these in 2 weeks. So
okay.
We'll review these.
I'll just assume I would have been 8-0.
Well, that I can, and 3 or 4 game picker ups.
Right.
So
put us all down for 10 points.
So there you go. So that's what we have for you. All right, we're gonna have headlines coming up in about 2 minutes. Final thought on Jags Bears. I'm surprised you like the Bears. You're not. Do you think the Bears are better than other people think they are, or do you think the Jags are more challenged than maybe some people think they are?
To me, it's more about the matchups of the game. I look at a struggling Jaguars third down offense against an outstanding Chicago third down defense. I think that presents problems. And I also think the Bears simply have weapons that's going to be hard for the Jaguars to cover. So I think Caleb Williams, yes, he's a rookie, but he is talented, and I think he's starting to see things better. I mean, again, just because somebody's a rookie doesn't mean they're a bad player. Look at Jaden Daniels and somebody that's absolutely taken the league by storm. So I think Caleb Williams will do enough and can take advantage of really a Jaguar secondary that has to have no confidence. I mean, after the way that, obviously the team got the win, and that's great, but you can't let Alec Pierce get deep on you twice. I mean, you can't have a 42-second touchdown drive followed by a 45-second touchdown drive that you allow. And yes, they've had a week to correct that stuff, but I think Chicago's way more explosive in terms of who Caleb Williams is throwing to. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a blowout by any means, but I think Chicago wins a game like 24-20.
Yeah, and look, the Jags have, when you're 1-4, you're not going to be an automatic pick to beat anybody. There's no laydown picks when you're a 1-4 football team, and I get that. I don't think the Bears are as good as it looks like they are. Again, they're all NFL teams, but I think they really did catch a break the way the schedule played out. And look, when you're a struggling team, you're going to catch a break. They were to 7-10 a year ago, but for me, I just don't think the Bears have some good numbers, particularly defensive numbers. I think those will change a little bit mid-season after they've played some different teams. We'll see if it turns out that way. All right, we're going to take a break in a minute and get to headlines. And I'm probably stealing your thunder a little bit on headlines here because we usually leave this stuff for you. But I had to bring it up at some point today. JJ, how about Francisco freaking Lindor?
Yeah,
were y'all watching, by the way?
I was watching live. Yeah, I was at work. But I was just thinking about our boy Dan Hicken.
Oh, my God.
Sitting in that crowd and how amazing that must feel.
For people that don't know, they eliminated the Phillies. They were down 1-0.
Eighth inning, I think, or seventh.
Maybe sooner than that, but it was late in the game. And Francisco Lindor hit a granny, and that was the difference in the game. They won 4-1. And did you notice him run around the bases? Did you notice anything, JJ?
No.
No emotion?
Yeah. Very stoic.
No, he didn't. Remember, Alonso lost his mind when he hit the game winner. And by the way, I have no problem with someone losing. I'm not saying
that one was in the ninth.
That was right. But I mean, Lindor, you would have thought it was a home run on April 28th. You know that against the Reds. You would have thought it was a Wednesday afternoon getaway game against the Reds in front of 9,000 fans. And he hit a home run. That's how
I never noticed that. He is a very professional guy.
Yeah, I mean he didn't. There was no emotion.
Now imagine in that Dodgers series, the animosity going on if Machado hits one out or something like. You're gonna see fights on the field. It's
no
gonna
question.
be great.
No question. So anyway, we'll take a break. Hays has headlines to wrap the show. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The latest odds for the 2024 Heisman Trophy, Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty is plus 225. He's already got 1,000 yards this season. Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter plus 325 to win the Heisman. Miami quarterback Cameron Ward is at plus 550. Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe is at plus 1,000. Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel plus 1,600. Quinn Ewers plus 1,800. Quarterback at Texas. Cade Klubnik, quarterback at Clemson, is at plus 2,500 to win this year's Heisman Trophy. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Stuck on what to do with a plumbing issue? Just call the Duck. Duck Rooter are experts at plumbing and are a 5-star Google-rated company. You name it, they do it. Water heater replacements to sewer drain cleaning, leaks to repipes. Fully licensed and insured with highly trained technicians. Trust the Duck to fix it right. Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
I'm Taylor Rose with our Remedy Staffing Westside office off of Normandy Boulevard. We are helping great people find great jobs. Remedy has helped some of the best employers in Jacksonville find talented job seekers like you for over 25 years. Our current job openings range from entry-level distribution center pickers to equipment operators. Apply today at remedygoodjobs.com. Don't wait. Apply at remedygoodjobs.com now.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Are the company's Zoom calls getting boring? Might be a good time to order some new logo caps or temporary tattoos. Check them out online at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents in 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank NA, member FDIC.
We could call them helmets and cleats, but they don't wear cleats.
Those shoes are hot.
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
From the First Coast Lighting Studios at 1010XL.
Weekdays noon to 2.
You think you could join us?
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Prosser here. I've been telling you for years about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us. Imagine watching your favorite team in your new Lifetime Man Cave, family hangout, or Lifetime's version of a she shed. And now Lifetime is expanding their replacement window division. Make your home energy efficient with their Energy Star rated windows. Enclosures, flooring, and windows to fit any and all budgets. Visit the showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let Lifetime be your home team.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
1 second left. Hackers are ready to score. Will your business defense hold? Double-check cybersecurity stops threats 24/7. Don't wait. Visit doublecheck.com today to schedule your free security consultation. Act now and stay protected.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars are scheduled to fly out tonight for their trip to London. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence on the key to handling the trip overseas.
Being able to get on a nice sleep schedule early, because that time change can get you if you're not careful. So just trying to push through that first day, get to bedtime without sleeping too much so you can get a full night's rest and kind of get back on track. I think that's one of the biggest things. But just having the experience of going over there, you kind of know how to handle it, you know what to expect, you know how you're going to feel. You're going to feel a little sluggish, a little groggy once you get over there, but you'll settle in quick. And I think a big part of it too is getting a lot of your prep done while you're here.
Jaguars, Bears, kickoff from London, Sunday morning at 9:30. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, the Jaguars, sounds of the game. What a remarkable job they do. 18 and a half minutes recapping that win over the Colts. What were some of your favorite parts?
It was really good. I love the way they interspersed the old like looked like real video with the new video. I say it all the time. They have 7 cameras. They have 19 people in that department, somewhere thereabouts. Patrick Cavanaugh runs that department. Dave DeCandis is the director of broadcasting, but all of them, Trent and Gabby and the whole Eva. I'll leave them out. I shouldn't be saying names because there's too many to mention. But the Jaguars.com folks are so freaking good, and they work at it, and it's a story. It's a documentary of a game every week, and I'm honored to be part of it, and I love watching it, and I watch it on the big screen now. Lauren Brooks is the one who told me to do that. But don't watch it on your phone. Put it up on the big screen. And if you haven't watched Sounds of the Game from an exhilarating win over the Colts, go back and watch it because it tells you the story of the game. It's a well done 18-minute documentary on one game. I'm glad you brought it up. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. A couple things that stood out to me was after Brian Thomas's 85-yard touchdown, they get back to the sideline and they're celebrating. He's like, I think I got 21. And he was talking about the miles per hour,
right.
Which was cool to see that's such a big thing with players. And as we know, he got to 21.15,
right.
Fastest ball carrier in the NFL this season. So that was kind of cool that's sort of a goal. That's something that they pay a lot of attention to. And then Evan Ingram, I thought, was so magnificent.
That's why we work.
Yeah, in terms of particularly how he was with Brenton Strange touchdown.
That's why we work.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And just fantastically done. So again, if you're a Jaguars fan, you've got to watch it. Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars, met with reporters today through Zoom prior to the team leaving for London and talked about Brian Thomas, the electric rookie, and was asked how defenses might start prioritizing him in their game planning.
Yeah, I think that's always a challenge for all. As that comes in his career, it's on all of us to put him in the best possible position for him to be able to execute with that. I think that's probably more so a quarterback coordinator type answer for you, I guess, of making sure that you have an effective player that can't get taken away by a certain thing. Now, I think we benefit from having a lot of really good skill players. So if you're going to commit resources to doubling a certain receiver, well, we feel like we have the ability, ideally, to run the ball if you're playing shell coverages and things like that, and you're giving us a light box. 2, now we have another matchup. We get an opportunity to attack where you don't have as much help over the top, possibly. So that's something that certainly that's a good problem to have if you have a really good player and teams have to commit multiple resources to covering them and stopping them and taking them out of the game.
Yeah, and I agree with him. I do think they have weapons, Hays. That's the point. And I think they found a rhythm offensively last week. They needed to get to 37 points to win the game, and they did against a reasonably good defense. And I think they play a similar defense this week. And I think they're going to score some points in this game.
The Jaguars hit a ton of explosives against the Colts in the victory. Unfortunately, defensively, the Jaguars gave up some explosives to Indianapolis in the passing game. Defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen was asked today what happened on those 2 long touchdown passes that the Colts hit.
Yeah, really, that's what, you look back at it, the game, we had a game of 2 scores and, we're playing the 2-minute situation and we had a quarters call for that situation right there, expecting the deep ball. It could have been in too high right there. And then the second one, we're cloud to the boundary and we're playing in quarter concept to the field. So, got to do a better job, make a better call, and get off the field right there in that situation.
Yeah, and we talked about it all week, Hays. What you cannot have happen is the ball go over the top, regardless of whose fault it is, regardless of which player or scheme or whatever. The one thing in prevent defense, the only thing you cannot have is a ball thrown over the top. Anything else is acceptable in those situations, and they had twice had a ball thrown over the top.
Without a doubt. Let's get it to around the NFL. Jets interim coach Jeff Ulbrich makes Todd Downing the offensive play caller, demoting Nate Hackett. The 2-3 Jets host the Bills on Monday night.
Yeah, we know Hackett from being the play caller here under Doug Marrone. Some good and some bad here. He'd been the play caller there with the Jets. Todd Downing is a two-time play caller. For 2 years was the coordinator in Tennessee. So certainly he's familiar with it. You get the sense they just felt like they needed a shakeup. I think one of the reasons Robert Saleh got fired is similar to the reason that Nate Hackett got demoted. I think they felt like they needed a fresh everything, Hayes, and I think that's what they've done.
The Saints are announcing that rookie quarterback Spencer Rattler will get the start as Derek Carr recovers from an oblique injury. New Orleans hosts Tampa Bay on Sunday. Kind of excited to see what Rattler does.
I am too. You know what's interesting about Rattler? He was all the rage at Oklahoma, all the rage until Caleb Williams showed up. Then all of a sudden he was a forgotten guy, and he bounced back and got to South Carolina, was a very good player. But remember how everybody talked about Spencer Rattler until Caleb Williams showed up on the scene. And so, yeah, I think he's a big arm guy. He's got a whippy motion. I'm with you. I'm intrigued to see what he will be.
Week 6 begins tonight in the NFL as San Francisco travels to Seattle. The 49ers are 2-3 while the Seahawks are 3-2. Who do you like?
Boy, that's a hard one, Hayes. I think I probably like the Seahawks to win the game because they're at home, but I think the 49ers need it in the worst way. This is a team with Super Bowl aspirations that might get to 2-4, and their best player hadn't played yet. It's a very bizarre circumstance. It really is.
Absolutely. In college football, Gators receivers Trey Wilson and Aiden Mizell not on the injury report for the Tennessee game, so it looks like they'll be fine. Left tackle Austin Barber is listed as questionable, so something to watch there for the Florida offense.
Yeah, they need him now. Austin Barber is probably their best lineman. He's their most athletic lineman for sure against the Tennessee defensive line that's really good. Everyone talks about Nico and Josh Heupel's offense. But Tennessee's very good defensively. That's what's gotten kind of snuck under the radar there. They are very good defensively, and you need all hands on deck. But I'm glad that Trey Wilson and Aiden Mizell could play. I mean, that's a lot of weapons if you use them the right way.
Absolutely. Let's get to Major League Baseball. The Mets advance to the NLCS.
What an amazing moment. Francisco Lindor hits a grand slam. And listen, the amazing Mets of 1969 are one of the most talked about teams of all time because they came out of nowhere. This team started 0-5. Realize that? They were 0-5, and a week or two into the season weren't very good. And boy, they've been very good since then. The Mets have always been a charming team, in part because they're not the Yankees, yet they're still in that gigantic market. In part because they've had magical moments. 69 and 86, those teams are as memorable as any World Series champions. They really are. God, I was torn on this one because my buddy Dan Hickens is a Mets fan, and my buddy Joe Fortunato with the Jags is a Phillies fan. But now that the Mets are playing, it's hard not to root for them. I mean, Joe Cowart's a Dodger fan. I don't really like Joe, it's hard not to pull for the Mets now.
Yeah, and speaking of those Dodgers, they force a Game 5 by beating the Padres 8-0.
Yeah, and I was wrong about that. JJ, you called that. I thought the Padres were going to close them out. It looks like you might have New York, Los Angeles in the NLCS. I would think that'd be pretty good for ratings.
I still think the Padres have a good shot.
They do.
I just had a feeling it was going to go 5.
In the American League, the Yankees and Tigers take 2-1 leads. Detroit will try to close out Cleveland today.
Yeah.
That game starts a little after 6 o'clock, while the Yankees take on Kansas City at 8:08.
Wouldn't it be something if because Detroit's not a major market, but it's a heritage team. And if it's the Dodgers and Mets and Yankees and the Detroit Tigers, that's a lot of heritage, man. That's some World Series champions. That's a lot of Hall of Famers now. Okay, that would be in the Final Four standing for sure.
And the Yankees got Cole on the mound tonight, so odds are that they'll close it out.
You would think.
The Rays Stadium Tropicana Field had the roof torn off.
Wasn't that wild?
By Hurricane Milton. Boy, that'll be interesting to see how they fix that.
I didn't realize. I knew it. I just had forgotten that they still had one of those old Teflon roofs. Remember the O'Connell Center used to have that. The whatever USF Dome, whatever they called it. I think that might be what they called it. Had that. Remember when they were all the rage? Those Teflon roofs were all the rage. And then the O'Connell Center changed to the hard roof, and then they have the scoreboards. I had forgotten that Tropicana Field still had that Teflon roof. And, that thing was really destroyed. Who knows? Who knows if they'll be able to play there next year? They'll try and get it ready, but the Rays said it'll be a while before anybody knows.
Absolutely. A couple more for you before we get it to the cool down. The Braves have fired their hitting coach. JJ, your thoughts?
Somebody had to go. It was just anemic offensively from everybody. Basically, Marcelo Ozuna was the only player who didn't regress from last season. I mean, they were historically good the season before, but the way they regressed was crazy. So somebody had to go, and it wasn't going to be Snicker, so I'm not surprised.
Kevin Seitzer's been around.
Yeah, he's not a bad hitting coach.
He's a respected guy, but I agree with JJ. Sometimes you got to take the bullet for everybody.
Right.
Absolutely. We don't talk a lot of tennis, but there was a massive retirement today. Rafael Nadal is retiring at the age of 38. The 22-time Grand Slam winner, including 14 French Open titles, spent 209 weeks as the number one player in the world.
Where is he? Greatest ever. Where is he on the list?
I'd have him like third.
You'd have, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Federer,
Djokovic, Nadal.
So you'd have all these guys ahead of the guys of yesteryear. I don't know tennis well enough to know that.
I think just because of their longevity,
I think he's too much of like the clay guy to be over like the Samprases and guys.
Well, he's got to be over Sampras. He won 22 of these things.
Yeah, but I mean, aren't like
he won the
all
career
of them
Grand Slam
French?
2 times over.
Yeah.
He won multiple Wimbledons, U.S. Opens, and Aussies.
Is there an argument, and I don't know, and I could not know less about this, so I'm talking from a position of ignorance. But is there an argument that when McEnroe and Connors and Stan Smith and Arthur Ashe played, and then even later when it was Sampras and Agassi, that there was a deeper field than there is now? And I don't know that
I would
answer,
say yes.
But nonetheless, titles are titles.
And Nadal and Federer and Djokovic had a lot of their career at the same time. Djokovic had the benefit of years after Nadal and Federer had sort of fallen out of their prime. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I'm not a tennis expert.
But it's a great conversation because one of the greatest players of all time. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that gets us to the cool down.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, where have we been on the program today? Greg McGarity stopped by to talk about the Gator Bowl college football, or the Gator Bowl game in the college football scenario. Love talking to Greg about that. Nobody knows college football any better than he does. Great having him check in. Pete Prisco stopped by to talk about the Jags in the NFL. He thinks the Jags are going to beat the Bears. We did our picks, as a matter of fact. We talked about who's going to win some of these key games, and we talked a great deal about Florida, Tennessee. We talked a great deal about the Jags and the Bears. That's where we've been throughout the course of the program today. It's a fun weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. I mean, again, Florida-Tennessee week is always fun. It's not as fun, regardless of which of the two teams you root for. It's not as fun when one of them's a double-digit underdog. I would tell you, there could not have been a time in the 90s when either was a double-digit underdog. Could not have been.
No.
I don't think in the Zook or Urban years, anybody they were ever one.
Urban was like a 20-some, high 20s point favorite over the Kiffin team.
Oh, he was. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So
they didn't cover that.
Yeah, but so that's when it was. So, but it hadn't happened very often. 15-point dog. So it'll be an awful lot of fun to watch. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
Blue, I love your stat on Tennessee. It made me chuckle and smile and all the rest. But I don't feel good about my Gators on Saturday night. I don't. I think Florida is so mediocre at best. I think Tennessee's pretty good. Now, you're right about
hard
all
against
stuff.
Central Florida. They really whooped them. I thought they were going to be a good team this year.
They did.
No, I thought Central Florida was going to be a good team this year.
They're terrible, though.
I watched Colorado beat them, and then I watched
when Colorado went in there and kind of gutted them.
Because they were an underdog in that game.
Yeah, but you know, when Colorado went and gutted them, you got a pretty good idea, you know, what they were.
Right.
So, but I don't know. We'll see. And a fun weekend because the Jags, the Noles have the weekend off. We'll certainly talk about them more next week. But
that makes it even better weekend. Are you kidding me?
So you're going to go undefeated this weekend.
I mean, a week from Friday night, it could just ruin the weekend when they go into Duke in front of 24,000.
And they stopped Christian Laettner's my question.
Try. Christian Laettner's my neighbor.
Okay. Oh, okay. How about that?
I guess he just moved in, and so
you have
he's
a bet
right down
going
the road.
with Christian. You and Christian.
Well, I mean, I thought it. No, I don't.
Okay.
But I was like, boy, is that Christian Laettner? And I'm like, then all of a sudden I look at it's a 6'10" white guy wearing Duke shorts. I'm like, yeah, that's Christian Laettner. He's my neighbor now.
You always have been cracking. You're a criminology major, right? Yeah, you've always been good at being able to follow the evidence.
Yeah, 6'10" white guys walking around the hood. I'm like, yeah, that's Christian Laettner.
With Duke shorts on.
All right. It is a great weekend, though, because, you know, tonight we got the path to possibly the championship series and the American League. Incredibly low-scoring games in the American League side. So I guess pitching's still the premium. here in the month of October. And how about the National League last night? The Dodgers used 9 pitchers. Right. And the Padres used 8.
Isn't that amazing?
17
pitches.
I mean, that's baseball 2024.
And how about the moment for Lindor? I mean, you talk about a moment.
Man.
Ran around, never even smiled. Didn't smile, didn't fist pump.
We were on air when that happened. It was, bases loaded jack for Lindor. And when those guys are healthy, and, he went down late. He went down in like early September.
Yeah.
And missed about, I think, 6 to 8 games, but playing some good baseball. Yeah, we're packed tonight. Tim Brando and the Philly Godfather.
I'll be listening. Rick Ballou
Take
goes
care.
in tonight. Thank you, Rick. Rick Ballou goes into tonight. And by the way, into the night with Rick Ballou tomorrow at 4 o'clock. In this time slot, Hays will be sitting in with Rick. That'll be a terrific show, so be sure to be listening to that. We're out of here. I will see you in about 12 days.
Have fun.
I will be in London. We fly tomorrow. We'll call both games and then be back, hopefully, with 2 victories. That's the plan. Come back with 2 victories. We're out of here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.